Hello there. We're back with our attempted Roman Republic. Paradox released a new patch which fixed some things and broke some other things, as they tend to. If you look at these Varangians, you can see they're very strong and they're actually the final age of unit, that being Age of Revolutionaries unit, making them incredibly overpowered in this era. As such, we're not going to make any. I was planning to make some Varangians, but because they're now too overpowered, I'm not going to make any. It just wouldn't be fair. Another thing they did is they made some changes to bureaucracies. Some are better now. Some are a lot worse, like this honorary titles. You can see it really eviscerates our crown power now. In fact, our crown power is at 3 because of it. So we're going to have to pay them, if only to fix the crown power issue. But outside of that, it's time that we really come down like a ton of bricks on these Turkic tribes. We'd like to start cleaning them up. We're going to start paying for diplomacy, if only so we can get diplomats faster. There, now we're going to fabricate a CB on these blue guys. They're allied with a few others, the yellow ones over there, the greyish ones here. So we'll see if we can't kind of conquer as many as we can. We'll have to keep an eye on our aggressive expansion, obviously, but it's probably doable. One thing I've noticed, we do have a coalition behind us. Naples and Bulgaria are in a coalition, so we'll need to keep an eye on them. They may stab us in the back, but honestly, we can probably beat them, even if they both attacked us. If only because Naples won't be able to bring its full might to bear, and we'll probably just, clean up the Bulgarians, and then grab any Neapolitans that come across. There's our CB. I don't think we'll waste any time, so let's just begin. This should be a pretty trivial war. There we go, as discussed, pretty trivial. We'll need to think about what we're going to take. We're not going to be able to full annex Karaman, it seems, which is a pity, as it's something we will need to do. We're not going to be able to full annex these yellow guys either, unfortunately. We should be able to annex these people, though. It's because they're so small. So we'll see about that. Oh, it seems the coalition against us has disbanded. That's excellent. At least we don't need to worry about being attacked in the back by them. All right, the green guys have had enough. We're going to gain antagonism, obviously. Not really with anyone of note, mainly just the Turks though, which we're not bothered with. We'll full annex them. While we're still at war, we're actually going to begin fabricating our CB on these brownish Turks here. See about mopping them up. Alright, yellow guys. What should we take from them? I'm guessing we just take their border provinces. Something like this, I think. Again, it's mainly just going to anger these Turks, which we're not actually bothered with. Let them be angry. If they formed a big coalition, it could actually be to our benefit, because they would bring in potentially this nation here that we do need to destroy. Alright, blue people defeated. As mentioned, we're not going to be able to full annex them, unfortunately. So I guess we'll just kind of seal them away here. At least this way they won't be able to expand or be attacked, although maybe we should let them be attacked. That way they could potentially be killed, but I guess we'll just have to make do. The problem is the truce is going to last ages, obviously. 1389. To be fair, we have until the 14th century to destroy them though, so it should be fine. I guess we could take less land to make the truce. No, that doesn't affect the... So I guess we'll just do it, no problem. That sends us back to peace. We do have a bit of a coalition happening, but honestly, it's kind of perfect. It's bringing in so far nearly all of the Turkish tribes that are still resisting us, including these guys down here that we want to kill. So if the coalition does exist, or continues to exist, things should go perfectly. We're going to jump these guys who are leading the coalition in a few months, and we should be able to use that as an opportunity to clean up most of the Turks left. Venice, of all nations, has decided to join the coalition. I mean, it's not a big deal, as long as no one crazy joins, right? And no one crazy looks like they're going to join. Cyprus has joined though. We might use this as a chance to destroy them. Genoa's also joined. That's also a chance for us to take their land back that rightfully belongs to Byzantium. We're also going to start thinking about expanding our army now. We're going to need to reach that 10,000 men in order to remove the decaying theme system and replace it with the better modifier. So we're going to start recruiting soldiers, obviously. It's going to be expensive, both in manpower and money. We're also going to start building the old theme headquarters. They're not that great when it comes to crown power as they reduce it, but they do give manpower and more levies in the places they're built, which can help us just really punch above our weight, as it were. We'll start building them around wherever we can. Thing is, though, they're limited on where they can be built, only being allowed to be built in the capital of a province. which essentially means we can have one theme per province. Our CB's up, so I think it's time. What are the chances we lose to this coalition? Pretty thin, I think. Even if they brought all their numbers together, there's still more of us than there are of them. And I've just noticed we don't have a diplomat, so we'll have to wait 2 months. Hopefully no one crazy joins the coalition in this time. Nope, we're all good. So let's begin. As mentioned, this nation over here is in, so we'll see if we can't destroy them. We might need to wait for them to capitulate, but we can get access through the Mamluks. It's this nation here who might be a problem. They're a Mamluk vassal, and they don't like us. Probably should have preemptively improved relationships with them, but it's too late now. If we're lucky, that little nation over here may just capitulate in the war, but we'll see how things go, of course. Right, things aren't going too poorly. We've defeated most of the Turks here. Most of the army of the coalition is over in Venice and in Genoa, so there's not much of a threat to us here. I didn't actually realise that the Armenians here had joined the coalition, but we'll defeat them. We probably won't annex any of their land, though. We don't need to. We don't want to risk angering people too much, right? There goes our first victim. Just full annex them, move them from the field. And there goes our second victim. They're a very small nation, though, so it's not a big deal. And there, I believe that's all the Turkish tribes, not including the one we started the war with and these ones over here, obviously. But now the war is kind of over. We're still kind of waiting for the Venetians to maybe transport somebody over to fight us, but I'm not sure if they're going to, which might be too bad. If we can't rack up the war score against the Venetians, we'll be able to demand land, obviously. I think my navy also got stack wiped at some point. I didn't notice or didn't have them out at sea, but it looks like most of them died. There's only 3 cogs left, which is definitely an annoyance. Ooh, the descendants of Saladin have found a way over. I'd like to say that means we have access, but it doesn't. But they've definitely found a way to get access to us. We'll peace out the Armenians, take some money from them, war reparations. As I said, we don't want to anger people too much if we can avoid it. Ah, some Genoese have showed up. That's good. We'll kill them to gain some war score. I am thinking we're not going to be able to get the Venetians, though. They just don't seem to want to transport any of their soldiers over. I suppose they don't have that big of an army, only around 3,000. But even so, it would have been nice if they'd showed up, so that we could beat them up and potentially take some land from them. I imagine once we take this fort from Genoa, that will likely be enough and they'll surrender. The Genoese just don't seem like they want to surrender, even though we've occupied that fort as mentioned. We might not be able to get anything from them. We'll have to see. I think we're going to wipe Peace Cyprus. We're not going to be able to actually get to their island due to the Venetian navy, so we might as well just throw them out of the war. We'll also make peace with the Obids for the same reason. I'm not sure we're going to be able to reach that small nation, though. But there's a chance they might just capitulate, able to annex them that way. If they don't, because they are joined in the war, we can take some land from them, so we might just take a tiny bit of land that we could potentially hire mercenaries in. That way, in a future war, we'll be able to clean them up. I think we're just going to throw out the Venetians from the war. They're more troublemakers than they're worth. We have managed to rack up enough war score against the Genoese to take back the land. So we'll take back the few provinces they have in Anatolia that belong to us. We'll also nab some money off them. Could we get them to pay war reparations? No. So I guess we'll just grab the money. We don't really want to drag the war out any longer. And then there were 2. Actually, I think they've just capitulated. So I think... Ooh... Maybe not. We could definitely grab all of their land if we made peace. Problem is, of course, this is too much war score. I guess we could leave these guys with a single location, or 2 or 3. How long would the truce last? 1393. So we'd be pushing it very close. If these guys would capitulate, though, we could just annex them right now. It's whether they will, though. I don't think so, even though we're at 100% war score. And we definitely can't get access to them. The nations nearby just hate us too much to give us access. So I think we're just going to do it. We're going to leave these guys with a tiny slither of land. You know what? Let's try and push them so they're close to Karaman. Maybe Karaman will just kill them and solve the issue for us. We could always just break the truce and attack. There's nothing stopping us doing that. But it's, you know, I'd like to avoid doing so if I can. Kind of damaging when it comes to the coalitions, which is something we do need to be aware of. There's only a few Turkish tribes left now, the one we just left, the blue guys and the yellow guys. We're probably going to need to chill out a bit now because of the amount of aggressive expansion we've built up, so I think we'll begin chilling out. Trebizond, of all people, has formed a coalition against us. I'll try not to take offense. Ooh, Egypt joined the coalition. That is not what we wanted. I guess we'll have to prepare for just being slammed on. What a pity. We did max our relationship with the Mamluks, but it doesn't seem like it was enough to stop the antagonism seeping in and destroying our relationship. Trebizond is the leader of the coalition, so as long as Trebizond doesn't, you know, turn their back on us, we should be fine, right? Surely Trebizond wouldn't betray their fellow Greeks? Surely? We're in a bit of an emergency scenario now, I guess. We'll definitely lose a war with the Mamluks. It's more of a question of how much will we lose, right? We might be able to scrape by without taking many losses or losing much of anything. Luckily, we've got a parliamentary issue here which increases antagonism decay. If we're lucky, which I doubt we are, it might decay fast enough that we can avoid the coalition attacking us. They haven't tried to attack us yet, which is a little surprising because they are probably just stronger. I've released loads of nations in Anatolia though, and that might buff up our strength a little. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Trebizond has attacked us, so this puts us in a poor situation, goes without saying. If we can attack and do enough damage to Trebizond quickly, we might be able to end the war there and then. Problem is, of course, their war enthusiasm, because there's a lot more of them than there are of us, they're going to feel pretty confident. I suppose it will really depend on what the Mamluks do. If they fight smartly, we'll almost definitely just going to be in for a bad time. If the Mamluks fight poorly, we might be able to scrape out a victory. We can afford to give up territory. It's not the end of the world, right? As long as we're not creating any more Turkish nations. This definitely isn't a we're gonna die scenario. It's more of a we may be pushed back scenario. But to be fair, we were rushing to try and win the fate of the Phoenix. That sort of thing is kind of inevitable when you're rushing like that. But for now, enough with the coping. Let's go on the offensive. See if we can't do damage to Trebizond as discussed. In just that moment, we've got a bit of a revolt by the Turkic people. Shouldn't be a big deal though. It's not like they control any forts. I don't think we're going to waste time trying to occupy Trebizond. It's just too forted up and would likely take too long. So instead, we're going to turn our attention to the Mamluks. They are sending some soldiers over. It looks like they're poorly supplied though. We might be able to jump out and kill a few stacks. It's definitely going to be hairy though. But this is a superiority war, so if we can just win a few fights, we'll get a lot of war score. And that's all we need, right? Just a little war score. The real fear is that we'll jump one of these small Mamluk stacks, and then a much larger Mamluk stack that's hiding in the wings will jump on us. But we can't afford not to take risks, right? You gotta be willing to risk it all if you're ever really gonna win. So let's take a chance. Clean up that 3,000 stack. Winning that fight gave us enough war score that we now have the ticking war score, which is excellent. I'm surprised we're not seeing more of the Mamluks. Oh, look, it looks like they've landed behind us. That's actually really good. Since that stack is going to be cut off from its fellows, we should just be able to annihilate it. The real concern, though, is our vassals, because they'll go off and probably fight and probably lose against the Mamluks. Unfortunately, we can't really stop them. Well, I mean, we could, maybe. We could probably just tell them what we want to do. The problem is, what do we want them to do? I guess we'll tell them to stay defensive. Thing is, though, they'll probably just still try and liberate our territory being defensive. We could tell them to be passive, but I don't want them to just stand in their territory and do nothing. That would make them prime targets for cleaning up by the Mamluks. I'm not liking what I'm seeing down here. We've got all of our vassals' armies, all 5,000 of them, and they are right next to 12,000 Mamluks. Although the Mamluks don't seem to want to fight them, which sounds great to me, honestly. Please don't fight them. We'll lose a lot of war score. But on the flip side, if we can head down and join those vassal armies, we might be able to take a fight. The Mamluks are really heading in, but they're really cut off when it comes to supplies. They're probably just going to bleed out. Oh god, we wandered into a Mamluk stack. We should have won that, but because our morale was low, because we were moving around quickly, we lost. That's not too bad. Luckily, we didn't get stack wiped. Not sure where we're retreating to, though. We're retreating to where the Trebizond army is. Hopefully they won't be in a position to grab us. Surely not. Nah, we'll replenish our morale, and then we'll grab them. But yeah, that's a real pity. If we'd been able to fight better, we definitely would have won that fight with that Mamluk stack. Maybe the reason our vassals are there is because they're kind of trapped with the Mamluks blocking them in. So we kind of do want to liberate them from down there. Managed to take our revenge on that 9,000 stack though. We're actually doing pretty well. Thank you AI for not being too good at the game. We just need a bit more war score and then we can peace out. Ooh, the Mamluks are throwing themselves against our vassals. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. They have no morale. Even if, yeah, they just got stack wiped. We didn't even need to do anything. Not sure what the plan was there, Mamluk, but it's my sort of plan. The plan I like to see. My enemy's just dying. Let's see if we can't clean up these Mamluk stacks that have been marching through our territory. Oh, there we go. We've actually done enough. Trebizond is willing to peace out. Should we get a little greedy? Trebizond controls this little fort here. It'd be nice to take it, just to clean up the borders. We need to do a little more, though, to gain enough war score to do so. I'm not against doing a little more. As long as things don't go poorly, obviously, it should be fine. There, we did it. I'm honestly a little surprised, but maybe I shouldn't be. We'll go home for a bit. I still want to let the antagonism cool off a bit, even though, you know, we just beat the coalition, and the strongest coalition we fought so far. But as I said, I do still want to stay at peace for a moment. We also need to take into account our truces. This one ends in 1388. This one ends in 1388. Thinking about actually, these yellow guys are allied to all of the remaining Turkish tribes. So we could, when we fight them, just fight all of them at once. I am feeling a little hesitant though. We need to win before the 14th century, right? We could just no CB them right now. It would be disastrous for us though, when it comes to stability and of course antagonism. So I'd like to avoid doing so. But the option is always on the table, right? I think it's time. We're going to revoke the consolidated corruption of the elites. It's going to cost us 100 stability. We're currently sitting at 45 though, so it will take us to around minus 60, which honestly isn't too bad. So we're gonna bite the bullet and do it. It's going to make our states a little unhappy for a while in the short term, but in the long term it will improve our economy and increase the amount of soldiers we have, because that privilege decreases both. You'll remember that I gave my brother a Prenoia to govern. As we can see, he died and we became the ruler, so we can end up in this strange situation where Prenoia, which are ruled by us, ourselves. Probably not intended. Get that fixed paradox? If a Prenoia is inherited by the ruler, it should probably just be inherited. We've got a few years until our truce ends, though, so I think we'll continue just chilling out peacefully. It's tempting to go around cleaning up some nations during this period. I mean, we could. There's the little guys still in southern Greece that we could deal with. I am still feeling a bit cautious though. We do have a coalition against us, but it's no one really noteworthy. So maybe I am just being overly cautious. We just had a nice event that gave us a bunch of money, so I think we'll invest that in more soldiers. Doesn't feel nice just throwing away all the money the moment it comes in, but you know, needs must and all that. Alright, we've got our CB against these little guys. We'll just destroy them while we wait for our truce to end with the people we want to kill. This should be a one and done war. And there it is, one and done. Alright, our truce ends later this year, so it will be time for us to go on the offense. The main concern I have is that attacking these guys, they do have forts, and it might take a while to siege these forts down. Surely it's not going to take 12 years though, right? So we should be perfect for finishing the Rise of the Turks, and then on top of that finishing the Fate of the Phoenix. We're also going to embrace professional armies now. I've been kind of putting it off, but now's the time really to grab it. We'll rush straight down to get our armories and our men-at-arms so we can make more soldiers. But now it's time. We're going to declare war. Should we make somebody a co-belligerent? I mean, we could. Maybe we will, just in case. We'll make Karaman our co-belligerent. Our army's way too big and strong, I think, at this point for this to be anything resembling a challenge. As I said, my main concern is that we might take too long, but at the same time, it feels like a silly concern, like there's no way, right? There's no way we take 12 years to siege down 2 forts. Alright, there's Turkish tribe number 1. They weren't going to be a big issue at all anyway, due to their small size and lack of forts, but it's nice to clean them up. There's the yellow guys defeated, leaving only 1 Turkish tribe left. And there they go, we've done it. There are now no independent Turkish tribes left. In fact, I don't think there's any independent Turkish nations left. They're now all rightfully a part of us. So the Rise of the Turks should just end now. Yep, there it goes. It was for the best. And now the Fate of the Phoenix should also end. Yep, there we go, the resurgence of the Phoenix. Territory once lost has been reclaimed, and the Age of Decay draws to a close. Byzantium stands restored as a proper empire, ready to confront its enemies once more. Now, Roma awaits. We unlock the Restore Roman Borders CB, one of the most powerful CBs in the game. Not as good as the old Red Turban Rebellion one though. We continue to gain access to the 2 cabinet actions we had for the disaster. We get a renewed military modifier for 20 years, we unlock a few more bureaucracies, and we keep the efficiency of our cabinet from our reformed courts ideas. Perfect. We won the Fate of the Phoenix disaster. Achievement online. Now, what's our next step? We no longer have to rush to destroy all the Turkish tribes, so we can do things at our leisure. Before we do anything, let's destroy Argos, I guess. The last of the Latin states, unless you count the Venetians who are still hanging around. And the Knights. I've actually held off destroying the Knights because I'm pretty sure there's an event where they get given Malta by whoever occupies it. So I'd like to annex this vassal here, who we gained from annexing Athens, I believe. I'd like to annex them first so that they won't give out Malta to the Knights. Not really because it's a big issue, maybe just because I'm petty in that way. But either way, there goes Argos. Because we've already got a landing zone in Italy through our vassals there, it's not going to be too difficult for us to invade Naples or Sicily. Problem is, of course, Sicily's allied with Castile and protected by Aragon, so fighting them would be a big deal. Naples only has Venice as their ally, but they're quite strong in their own right. But it's kind of only a matter of time till we roll over them. Let's grow our military a bit more. We may have actually made enough, because when we upgrade these guys to man-at-arms, they're going to double in size. So really we only need 5,000 men, and then they'll become 10,000 men. Now, I've been kind of putting it off, but we should start revoking the other corruption privileges. I was holding off on revoking the 3 for the lesser estates, because revoking them would have reduced that estate's power and therefore increased the power of the nobles. But now that we've got rid of the noble estates privilege, we can start getting rid of these other ones. It's going to be pretty expensive to get rid of the burghers one though, because I've let their power grow a little too high, but maybe we should just do it right now. You know, it's only 71 stability. Before we do it though, actually, let's max our spending on the books because it reduces estate power. Then we'll give it a month to tick. I don't think it really led to it decreasing by any real metric. Maybe by a few points or so. I don't really notice though. A part of me feels like maybe we should just leave this privilege in place because it does increase the power of the burghers, right? 50%. But the negatives are a little too negative, I feel. Minus 5% max tax. A decrease to our import and export efficiency. To be fair though, we're making quite a bit of money now. Maybe we could just leave it. Problem is, if we leave it though, we'll probably end up revoking it much later. Oh, it's hard to decide, isn't it? It's hard to decide. How are we moving towards a republic? We just need to get our state power for the burghers up and get our plutocracy to 95. Plutocracy has just passed the 0 point and is now heading up towards 20. Instead of revoking that privilege, maybe we should start revoking more of the privileges from the nobility. For example, this privilege here increases their autocratic score. It also increases serfdom. It does let them expand RGOs though, and I do like that, and it's going to be very expensive to revoke it. And paralyzed by indecision. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to revoke the corruption of the common people, if only because it reduces our manpower and we want to get our manpower up. Also, I don't like that production efficiency malice, so we'll revoke that. When confronted with a bunch of choices that's hard to choose from, we'll just choose the outside option. It's also about time we started throwing down local governors. We're going to throw one down here in Thessaloniki, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. I'm sure someone will inform me. But yeah, we're going to throw down local governor there. And then we'll probably throw one down in Athens once we've absorbed the nations that are here, these Pronoia. It's going to be a bit awkward getting control up in Anatolia because it's across the sea, but we can build some local governors across the sea, but I'd rather build one rather further inland. Smyrna, for example, is a sort of place I'd like to build a local governor. We just need to build a road through this location here to connect up, and then we should be able to build one there. We're going to need our money to replenish though before we can do so. Now let's build that road up. This should let us build a local governor in Smyrna. We'll have to see though. I personally find it quite difficult to actually read the road map mode. Not sure why. Maybe it's because of how roads connect, but it is what it is. Not everything can be easy. Not everything should be easy. We're currently building up a spy network in Naples. Ooh, actually, we got a bit of a rebellion inside of our vassals. Do we even need to do anything? They should just be able to handle it themselves, I think. Yes, the issue looks handled. But yes, we're building a spy network in Naples. I think they'll be our first target. We're going to probably consolidate southern Italy. We're going to need to be a bit careful, of course, of coalitions. We need to be smart. I know it's hard, but I'll need to try and be a little smart. There's, of course, also Sicily, but I'd like to take a lot of land from Naples before we go for Sicily because of their alliance with Aragon and Castile. I should probably expand my navy, but I really don't like building galleys. For that reason alone, I'm holding off expanding building ships too much. And look, I was going to build a Restore Roman Border CB on Naples, but I forgot these aren't Naples' land. They're their vassals. So we can't form it through there. We could create a casus belli on Naples' vassals. It would mean we weren't able to take as much land from Naples as we might ordinarily be able to because the war goal will be for their vassals, not for them. The alternative is waiting for one of our Pronoia here in southern Italy to die. They're quite young though. This one's in his 40s, that one's in his 47s. This one over here is in his 40s. So maybe it's better to just attack sooner instead of later. So we'll fabricate on one of their vassals. It's not going to be the best way of doing things, but, you know, I'm sure we'll survive. There's our CB online. Our Pronoia over in Italy are just going to get smacked around, unfortunately. I was thinking maybe we should transport our army over, but there's only 4,500 of them. Naples themselves has 3,400 regulars, so they'd almost definitely just destroy us. They are allied with Venice, and they're going to call Venice in. We'll see if we can't grab those few locations from Venice. It'd be really nice to take Crete. Unfortunately, occupying Crete is actually kind of difficult. Because Crete is their own nation, we can't demand their land unless we occupy it. And occupying it is quite hard due to the size of the Venetian navy. And of course, we don't have any ships, because I'm too stupid to make galleys. So we'll see how it goes. We might end up taking nothing from Venice. At the very least, we'll be able to fully take all of the land in Albania that is rightfully ours. Ah, there's our armories researched. We'll begin spamming them. Ragusa's attempting a landing of all nations. Why has Ragusa got so many troops? Are these mercenaries? Yeah, they are actually, yeah. The Air seems to spam mercenaries a fair bit in this patch. Luckily, though, our regulars are able to defeat them. Not without casualties, though. That's why we're bringing over the levies to support. At the very least, mercenaries can't replenish, so any damage they take, they're not bouncing back from. Looks like Naples come over with a bunch of regulars, backed with some levies, mainly regular cavalry. Looks like they're actually transporting their armies over fairly quickly. We probably can't afford to hesitate. Let's bring everyone together, get our 100 stat general that we get for free, essentially, because we're Byzantium. Let's see if we can't crush them. Ooh, apparently we're going to lose. This might have been premature. I should have waited for my other stack to arrive. That might cost us. Well, let's see. We're definitely taking more casualties than we're dealing. Yeah, we're losing, I think. One of our flanks is gone. Let's fall back a little. It's going to lose a bit of war score. But if we link up with our other 13,000, we should have the numbers now. I feel like the game is no longer auto-balancing. I feel like I'm having to balance my flanks now. Whereas in the previous patch, they had fixed it so they were auto-balancing. But I keep noticing my flanks aren't quite equal or quite as spread out as they could be. Could just be I'm imagining it. But there we go, managed to catch them that time. We lost more than we killed, but at least we won. And that's nearly all of their regulars. If we just chase that stack down and annihilate it, they won't have any more regulars. Yep, there we go, regulars eliminated. Although they still have 2,000 somewhere, so maybe not as eliminated as it could be. I've noticed Paradox has actually finally added the Born in the Purple trait. It doesn't seem to work correctly though. My current ruler has 3 sons. The youngest is born in the purple, but it doesn't seem like he's the successor. The successor is still the eldest. I suppose the little boost from Born in the Purple isn't enough to overcome the score per age. I suppose the Born in the Purple person would only win if their age was within like 1 or so years of their competitor. And this guy's 3 years younger, or 4 years younger than his elder brother. So the Born in the Purple isn't able to overcome that gap. Oh well though, we've eliminated all the Neapolitans in Greece. It looks like they're investing 15,000 or so men on sieging the fort here. That's a good waste of their time. We'll see if we can't occupy their holdings here in Greece while they do that. Ragusans are back with another 5,000 mercs. Ah, but we've just got men-at-arms researched. That's excellent. Ooh, we've got the coalition being restored against us, and Egypt again joined. Trebizond again leads it as well. What's your problem, Trebizond? You don't even hate us that much. Only 39. This could be awkward then. Maybe we should peace right now with the Neapolitans. I was thinking we'd drag the war out a bit, but just in case, let's make peace. We really have a choice. Do we want to grab all of the provinces that Venice owns? Or instead, do we want to leave Venice with their land and grab more land in southern Italy? I think we'll leave Venice with their land. Venice isn't really a big deal. In Italy, I would like to create a line there. It's not perfect. We don't fully control some of these provinces, but at least we can connect up our lands in Sicily with our lands in southern Italy. Is this going to anger anybody? Not really anyone who isn't already angry. The real person taking offense will be, of course, Naples itself, Sicily, and some other Italian nations. I think we'll be fine. Also grab some money, release some pronoia in those southern territories. Then we'll turn around, or at very least we'll be ready to turn around if Pontic Trebizond does decide to attack us. The coalition is definitely stronger than us, if only because it just has Egypt in. They're currently pushing 100,000 levies, as they tend to. Yep, they tried it. Trebizond, why? Why do you hate us so much? Good thing we were prepared. I've also made a mistake when it comes to recruiting units. I've been recruiting archers when I wanted to recruit these heavy infantry. I'm guessing it's hiding the heavy infantry because of the Varangian bug, making the Varangians seem the strongest form of heavy infantry, and therefore it's hiding my other heavy infantry because it considers them outdated, which is a shame because I don't really want archers. Archers kind of suck. There's nothing we can do about it right now. Let's focus on fighting this war. Our last war against this coalition didn't go too poorly. We were able to scratch out a victory. It wasn't very difficult. I'm not sure if it will be the same this time though, right? Oh, well, Trebizond is already asking for peace. Why did you even declare the war if you were just going to ask for peace immediately, Trebizond? Did someone attack you? No. Oh well, I guess we'll just say peace then. How odd. I guess Trebizond decided they didn't hate us that much. Maybe it is because their relationship with us isn't that bad that they realized actually we don't want to bother beating up these people. Oh well. I'm not going to complain. That is annoying though, because I had to cut my war with the Neapolitans short because I was scared of a coalition. But ah well. Since we don't really want these archers, maybe we should just disband them right now. It's going to be a while though before we can build up the income to make the men-at-arms we want. So it might be a bit premature just dissolving them now. We've got a recruitment law online. I'm kind of thinking we should go for regulated naval service. It's not good, obviously, it just gives us more naval levies, but it does push us towards plutocracy. And we need every little push we can get, right? We're currently at 29 on our plutocratic score, so we're doing pretty good there, I think. One thing we should actually do that I keep forgetting to do it, though, is we're going to switch out our autocrat reform. It's going to cost us a bit of stability, but we should switch out for something that pushes, or at the very least doesn't push, towards autocratic. I think we're going to grab this plutocratic ethos. Pushes towards plutocratic, gives us a little bit of base parliament support. We could also go for trade office network. We don't rebuild foreign buildings though, but we do get trade advantage, which would lead to more money. I think we will actually go for trade networks instead. More money is always good. Those together should push our plutocratic score up to around, I don't know, 50? So we'll be around 40 off where we need to go. But we're getting there, we are getting there. Who should we attack next then? I'm a little concerned that another coalition will just form against us when Trebizond ends their truce. So I'm thinking we might try and destroy Trebizond, well, not first, obviously, but we're going to build a spy network on them, and then we'll see if we can't grab them. Bulgaria is allied with Hungary, so going toward them would be a bit of a issue, but I think we could beat Hungary at this point. Serbia, on the other hand, is allied with Poland, Trebizond, Wallachia, and the Knights. Bit of a big coalition of allies. Surprised they're able to maintain such a network, but we'll see if we can't topple them as well. There's also the Sicilians, but I think we'll leave them for now. As discussed, they're allied with Castile, and I'd like to build up my navy before we start fighting the Castilians. Or at least invading Italy proper. I don't feel comfortable being at war with the Italians in situations where I couldn't really attack them if I wanted to. Now let's throw down that local governor in Smyrna, as we were talking about before. Although we could build one in Ankara. That might be better. Let me actually look at the proximity map mode. If we built it in Smyrna, we'd definitely get control in this southern part of the nation. Whereas if we build in Ankara, we'll gain control in these locations here, but a lot of them are vassals and likely going to remain vassals for a while as we wait for their rulers to die. And if they haven't cored their land yet, we'll definitely release them again, like with these guys. So I think we should prioritize the land where we already control and increase our proximity over the land that we may eventually increase our proximity in, right? Ooh, looks like the Golden Horde just collapsed. It's nice to see Crimea on the map and all these other nations. All right, our CB against Serbia is online. I think we're going to attack them. Since this will call Trebizond in, we'll use this as an opportunity to elongate our truce with them. At the same time, we're also fabricating our CB on Bulgaria. Maybe we'll do both. We'll conquer Serbia, and then just as the war ends, or after winning it, we'll pivot and attack Bulgaria and restore full Roman rule to this end of the Balkans. But I think actually we're going to leave it here for today. Just looking at how long I've been playing. We've reached the 14th century, so it's only upward from here, surely. What are we like on plutocratic right now? We're currently sitting on 44. Max for now is 49, almost 50. We are getting there. I'm going to be keeping a lookout for any laws that we can use to push autocratic down or push up plutocracy. And once we grab right of the nobles, we'll probably curtail them and see if we can't start revoking reforms from them. Well, what is our noble power is at 37. To be fair, we're not paying for the books that reduce their power or the themata that reduces their power. I mean, we could revoke a privilege right now. Well, the downsides, right, will only be at like minus 90 stability. And honestly, the negatives from being at very low stability are kind of counteracted because the main problem is it reduces the state satisfaction. But for us, we're already able to keep our states very happy due to all the modifiers we have. So the worst thing that would happen is we'd need to bring our taxes down a bit to keep them happy. So maybe we should just revoke something now. Just bite that. Well, actually, before we do it, let's max the bureaucracies. Let's max the one that reduces noble power and then max the one that reduces power for all the states. Then we'll wait a month. That brings noble power down to 34. That actually almost brings burgher power to above noble power, which is what we need. But let's revoke something now. I think we're going to revoke this fortification licenses. You know, more forts, fort maintenance. Literally, who cares? Who cares about any of that? We could also revoke land rights. This would help because this pushes towards the autocrat side of the value, but it means they won't be able to expand RGOs. What are they going to do with their time if they're not expanding all these RGOs? I mean, we could always add it back to them in the future. Maybe we should just revoke this now so we can become plutocratic sooner, and then we can just give it back. Alright, there's nothing stopping us giving it back, but I really hate this fortification licenses, mainly because I don't really care about forts. It's a hard one, it is. I think we're going to bite the bullet and say we're going to revoke land rights. It's going to put us down in the stability, as mentioned, but I'm sure it will be fine. Trust me. Now plutocratic will passively tick up to 59. There are quite a few events that give plutocratic, so we might be able to just go straight from 59 to 95 based purely on events. We'll have to keep an eye out though. Anything could happen. To be fair, the nobles only have one privilege left that pushes autocratic, and even if we revoked that, we'd still only be at 69 plutocratic. So we're going to have to rely on events or something to push us over that 59 line that we need. We of course also need to get our stability back down to 0. We should probably start funding our stability for that exact reason. Maybe not too much. But now, as I said, for now, we'll leave it here. I'm not sure if we're making as much progress as I would like. To be fair, I am distracting myself by trying to push to plutocratic. And if I hadn't made that mistake with my archers, we would definitely have reformed our military by now. To be fair, we're only 55,000 off. So that's 5 man-at-arm regiments plus a archer regiment. We're going to need the manpower to fund that though, obviously. But now that we can build armories, we can just spam them everywhere. But as I said, once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and this series. We're close to becoming a republic, and then I can reveal the ultimate power of the Roman Republic. Plus our flag, which will be different. So I'll see you next time.